Previously on the Smurfs of the Law, the police Smurfs learned that keeping order means balancing duty with kindness. From baby giggles to bakery troubles and fairground chaos, the village was full of laughter and surprises. Now, the story continues. Welcome to Chapter 4. The Smurf with the megaphone announces that the tug-of-war test is cancelled and that they will immediately move on to the sack race instead, signaling a quick change of plans to keep the games going. As the Smurfs prepare for the sack race, one expresses hope that the sacks are sturdy. Another Smurf holds a pile of sacks ready for the next event, showing their eagerness to continue the competition without further issues. Two Smurfs of Law examine the broken rope and report that it has been deliberately cut with a knife, leaving only 3 strands intact. They declare that they are facing a saboteur and vow to catch the culprit. Papa Smurf questions if there really is a saboteur, but Brainy insists there is and confidently promises to catch the mischief maker soon, vowing to hold the saboteur's hand firmly once found. Smurf gathers a group of Smurfs ready to race and counts down loudly, preparing them to start the sack race. With a loud cheer, Smurf shouts "Smurf it," and all the Smurfs leap forward energetically in their sacks, beginning the race. The Smurfs hop determinedly, with Smurf leading the pack and a few close behind, all focused on the race ahead. Smurf with megaphone praises the excellent start, pointing out how Smurf stands out clearly among the racers. The Smurfs continue hopping along the course, enjoying the lively competition under the bright sky. However, the lead Smurf suddenly slows down and appears to stop moving forward, causing concern among the others. Suddenly, the referee urgently informs the crowd through his megaphone, but what's going on? Smurf has stopped. He's Smurfed out of the track. His voice is filled with surprise and worry. The lead Smurf looks down at his sack, realizing something is wrong as he struggles to keep hopping while others pass him by. The lead Smurf tumbles to the ground and cries out, "Ah! It's smuffing me everywhere!" He appears overwhelmed by some chaotic sensation inside the sack. The other Smurfs quickly join the frantic movement the same as the lead Smurf, their faces twisted with surprise. Each Smurf struggles to keep balance as their sacks slip and slide beneath them, splashing dirt everywhere. One Smurf, lying on the ground and rubbing his head, suddenly remembers the nearby duck pond. All Smurfs leap into the water with a scream. One Smurf, laughing, comments that the pond Smurf's a good pool, clearly enjoying the unexpected respite. Two Smurfs of Law attire discover itching powder hidden in the sacks, accusing a cursed saboteur of causing trouble among them. News spreads rapidly, with one Smurf doubting the possibility of a saboteur while another insists the Smurfs of the Law have confirmed it. Suspicion falls on everyone as two Smurfs argue heatedly, each eyeing the other as a potential culprit in the marketplace. Mistrust fills the air as a Smurf questions a cake vendor about whether he used pepper. The Smurfs finally begin to calm down as one Smurf poses as Papa Smurf gives a riddle about chanterelles. Papa Smurf watches thoughtfully, arms crossed, while the other Smurf listen intently to the puzzle. Suddenly, loud banging sounds interrupt their moment of calm, startling two Smurfs who play ball-the-wing game at the noise. One Smurf raises a questioning hand while the other points toward the source of the commotion. Another Smurf wonders aloud if a show has already begun as the banging continues with increasing intensity. The Smurfs look toward the noise, confused but curious. One Smurf explains that the play is actually scheduled for tomorrow, not today, while pointing to a poster advertising the Smurfs of the Round Table. Two others dash off, realizing they need to Smurf the curtains before the performance. The curtains on the small stage suddenly creak open on their own, creating an eerie atmosphere as the benches remain empty. The Smurfs watch cautiously from nearby, sensing something unusual. On the stage, a drawing of Elf, mocking the Smurfs of Law and declaring the saboteur will Smurf again, which alarms the Smurfs gathered in front. They begin to run toward the stage, preparing to confront the mysterious apparition. Two Smurfs of Law devise a quick plan to catch the prankster by approaching the stage from different directions. Brainy urges the hefty to Smurf to the rear while he circles around the back to trap whoever is behind the disturbance. The two Law Smurfs express frustration and anger, realizing they've been mocked and outsmarted by the trickster. Their clenched fists show their determination to catch the culprit as they prepare for the next move. Brainy Smurf cautiously searches behind a wall, announcing that nobody is there as he sees no signs of the culprit. He moves carefully, determined to uncover the hidden Smurf. Brainy Smurf pulls back the red curtain and asks Hefty if there is any sign of the mischievous Smurf, but the Hefty replies that there is still no trace. Brainy Smurf thinks deeply and suggests that the trickster must have blended in with the others to smurf the curtains without being noticed. He begins to consider the possibility that the culprit is among the group. He then notices fresh, wet paint on the wooden stage wall and points it out, realizing it is a clue that the vandalism happened very recently. Brainy Smurf gathers all the other Smurfs and announces that someone has been smurfing the place, demanding that whoever is responsible raise their hands. The gathered Smurfs respond with surprise and confusion. As the Smurfs raise their hands, Brainy begins to rule out suspects, telling some specifically not to be considered, showing his attempt to narrow down the list. Brainy continues to methodically exclude several Smurfs from suspicion, moving through the crowd and scrutinizing each one carefully. Finally, the Brainy Smurf points to 2 more Smurfs and excludes them as well, showing his growing confusion as the real troublemaker remains unidentified. Brainy Smurf points out that none of the Smurfs in front of them have paint on their hands, but Hefty notes that the culprit Smurf's gloves, making it harder to detect. Brainy then tells the group that they can move on. 2 Smurfs nearby comment that the saboteur Smurf managed to fool everyone, and another adds that he is incredibly strong. Brainy Smurf examines the graffiti on a wall, wondering aloud who could have painted it, setting the stage for his next deductions. He concludes that Painter Smurf couldn't be responsible because the graffiti's crude style doesn't match Painter Smurf's usual work, dismissing him from suspicion. Brainy reasons that Dopey Smurf is unlikely to be the culprit since he would have misspelled the word Smurf in the graffiti, which it does not contain. He goes on to rule out Poet Smurf because the message is too brief for his style, and Clumsy Smurf because the pot would have been spilled if it were him. Finally, Hefty points out that the graffiti is signed with an S, as in Smurf, hinting that the saboteur left a signature behind for Brainy to consider. Hearing that, Brainy sarcastically says to Hefty that the graffiti was signed with an S for Smurf is a big step forward of investigation. They walk together toward the stage, determined to find if the culprit left any clues behind it. Suddenly Brainy notices a clear footprint in the ground near the stage, remarking on how interesting it is that the saboteur left an imprint of his right foot. Brainy orders the Hefty to fetch Handy Smurf and to bring plaster to preserve the footprint without damaging it. Handy Smurf carefully applies plaster to the footprint while the chief instructs him to create a perfect mold, assuring that it will dry in a few minutes. The chief explains that once the mold is ready, they will be able to compare it against the footprints of every Smurf in the village. After the mold ready, in nearby tent, Smurfs are queuing nervously as they overhear the law Smurfs are talking about investigating their feet. Brainy calls out to a Smurf to place his foot inside the mold, prompting the Smurf to ask why he must do so. The Smurf law enforcer examines a footprint carefully and accuses another Smurf of being the saboteur, but the accused Smurf confidently denies it, claiming the footprint must be a mistake. The accused Smurf points out that the footprint is not his size because he has a big toe, while Brainy inspects the print again, pondering the difference. Brainy, still seated with his magnifying glass, then calls for the next Smurf to step forward and place his foot in the mold for comparison. As the next Smurf places his foot in the mold, Brainy sternly warns that this time the evidence is clear and he will hold the culprit responsible. Another Smurf interrupts, asking Brainy to place his own foot in the footprint mold to verify the evidence properly. Brainy Smurf protests, claiming he upholds the law, but the another Smurf insists that no one is above the law, challenging the accusation firmly. Brainy places his foot in the mold and other Smurfs declare Brainy feet fits perfectly, prompting the others to conclude that Brainy is their saboteur. Brainy admits he should have realized that all Smurfs have the same feet, and Hefty reassures him that Smurfette is innocent after all. That's the end of Chapter 4. If you're loving the Smurfy fun, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Chapter 5 is coming soon, you won't want to miss it.